Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Nice to see you all. I haven't seen so many people for a while, I don't think, so nice to see you all. Thank you all for coming. I suppose we ought to just do one bit of clarification first. There was a problem with getting the notices out to you by email last week, and it was actually a little bit later than it should have been. However, the public notice was up on the website by the required time on Thursday. So, and we haven't got anything terribly contentious, and clearly there's not been a big rush of public who have got any access to Grind, so I'm assuming that everyone's happy to continue as though we all received our notices as we should have done on the Thursday. Yeah, okay, great, thank you. So, going to the agenda then, first item is apologies for absence.
I've had apologies from Councillor Fuller, Councillor Chappell, Councillor S. Oakes, Councillor N. Oakes, Councillor Stagg and Councillor Clark.
So, I take it we're happy to accept those. Okay. Fine. Next item is declarations of interest. So
Can I just interrupt? Because I thought we'd started saying that we'd have to give the reason why they were.
Yeah, well, there have got reasons. We have got reasons on here. I don't personally think we should be recording that on a recording if somebody is away. It's classed as personal information.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Oh.
Ian's here.
You just apologised. I'm sorry for being late. My apologies.
You're not here, Ian. We've already voted on you.
Okay.
I'm quite happy going home.
Okay. Next item then, declarations of interest. So the usual declarations, anyone who has anything declared regarding disclosable pecuniary interests, other interests, request for dispensation, gifts or hospitality accepted over the value of £50, and any inappropriate gifts or hospitality offered.
So yeah, declaration is normal, same interest as drive.
Okay. There's no public participation because we haven't got any public today, and I'm not aware of any requests from interested parties. No. So on to the update for the neighbourhood plan. So I think, Peter, we're going to ask you to do that.
Okay, well, basically, apart from we've seen the Millers Farm, Millers Field, there's no, at the moment, any further action because we're waiting on a consultant to come back to us. He's on a holiday till the 10th of September to see if he'll take up the consultancy that we want to try and put out to him. We've had no help from Richard at ENC. He's not allowing us to have his SEAs, so we can't use those. So again, we've got to sort out that ourselves. We're seeing Philip Rose tomorrow, and I know that the Persimmon have also asked to see us. I haven't got a date for that yet, and then basically that's it. We can't do any more until we've got a consultant and we've talked to the developers.
You got a timeline and you know how we're going to go on to the next stage of the neighbourhood plan? I don't know where we are now.
Well, the problem is until we've got a consultant, we haven't got a time plan. Because if we don't get a consultant, Malcolm, to be honest,
Is this for the
SEA,
SEA?
yeah, and to get the neighbourhood plan back to ENC. But if
Do
we
we have to
don't,
go through the consultation?
yes,
Is that all right? Are we allowed to close the door?
Yeah, oh yeah,
We
yeah.
can. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
Yes.
people can still come in.
Yeah.
That's ENC told us that.
yes, ENC, yeah, yeah.
They
So,
they had plenty of opportunities to bring this up beforehand.
well, of course they did, but unfortunately they didn't.
I don't know, are they being, in your opinion, maybe I shouldn't ask you this, if they're being deliberately obstructive?
Yeah,
Right.
I would say, without a doubt, they're being obstructive because they now want their local plan to take precedence over our neighbourhood plan. Whether we can do anything about that, the only thing we can do is to work with them to try and make sure the parts of the neighbourhood plan, if we can't get it a consultant, we can put into the local plan to make sure the local plan is more acceptable to the people of Oundle. There is nothing else we can do.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but just to clarify, are going to be able to do the work in time?
Again,
They beat us to it anyway now.
Again, I can't answer that until we have the consultant on board.
But presumably they've got a time scale.
Well, they are saying that they're going to actually put their local plan out before Christmas. Now, having spoken to 2 or 3 other people, that's actually looking quite remarkably stupid on their part, because I don't think they'll make it. Because they've already allowed slippage on several other neighbourhood plans in the area to go into next year. So I honestly don't think they're going to be able to do the local plan before Christmas, or January they're actually saying. So we have maybe a slightly longer timescale, but I'm not going to promise anything because we don't know. I mean, that's the problem. We can't move forward without the consultant. If we can't get a consultant to do the work we need, then we have to work with the ENC to make sure that the parts that we want in the plan stay in the plan, and the parts that we don't want in the plan leave the plan.
Can I ask how much work there is to be done in terms of man hours or
Again,
any idea?
the consultant, I don't know. I really don't know.
But you presumably got some sort of spec to work to from ENC that tell you what has to be done.
Well, they have
Otherwise
actually
they can
said
just-
we've got to have, we've got
Just keep saying no.
We've got the SEAs to do, and we've got to cross-reference all the SEAs to justify the parts of our neighbourhood plan we want included. So, for instance, if we go, let's say we go for Herne Road, the cemetery, Bennefield Road, and Millers Field, ignoring the dairy at the moment, we have to show why, by cross-referencing those, that A, it gets to the figure of houses we want within their structure, which is approximately 300, and then B, that we've cross-referenced all those areas, and including Cotterstock Road, which we don't want, but we're going to look at, we have to put it in there to see why we can justify the 3 or 4 that we want as opposed to the 5 or the others that we don't want. So we've got to do all that within a time scale. Otherwise,
We don't know the time scale and we don't know how much work is involved.
well,
And we haven't got anybody to do it.
what we've got to do, well, it's very difficult to get a consultant in a short period of time.
Especially the summer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's why unfortunately we are having to wait until the 10th of September for this chap to come back from holiday. He's been reading it through his holiday, but he's not making any sort of commitment until he comes back from holiday. So what we've got to try and do is, if we don't get the consultant, we've got to look at ways and means of making sure that the plan that we want is included in the local plan, which means we have to work with the ENC. So I don't want to sort of say too much, but we have to try and do that. Whether we can or not, I don't know. And that's the truth. There's nothing else we can do. Sorry.
Richard Palmer, one of the planning officers, did undertake to carry out that SEA work and HRA work for us.
Yes, he did.
At one stage.
Yes, he did.
And that was agreed. He agreed that with
Yes, he did.
Councillor Stern and myself, that he would do it and they would pay for it. ENC would pay for it.
Yes. Now he's changed his mind.
Right.
He's not prepared to do it. He's not prepared to use his consultants to do it.
Right.
He's not prepared to even let us see the SEAs that he is doing for the ENC. He's already put that in writing to us. I think I've circulated that.
I think that we need to raise an objection to that position of his.
Well, I've written
These are public documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a public body, we have a right to those documents.
I have already written to Phil Stern and to Jack in Cotterstock, asking them to intercede on our behalf. I haven't had an answer from those people either,
So I think
as
it's
at this moment in time.
a formal statement.
Oh yeah.
Bear in mind, we had a Regulation 14 series of events. ENC attended those.
Yeah.
They not only attended, they joined in.
Yeah.
They actually spoke with us. They weren't saying there were any problems, they weren't saying that they had any objection to where we were and what we were doing. They were fully happy with where we were and what we were doing. Yeah, and they answered questions of the public at the public meeting at the QVH, and they've been to other meetings where they've spoken to various people and told them, you know, that they are fully behind us. So what the situation is, why they've suddenly changed it round, is very strange.
The problem is, Roy, is, I mean, obviously I wasn't involved in that side because I didn't sort of get involved. And I have to say, and I was completely ignorant of the neighbourhood plan. I wasn't really involved and I didn't really take a lot of notice. So I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that's what the situation was. All I'm telling you now is what the situation is now, because they have backtracked on everything basically they've said. They are now saying our neighbourhood plan is not fit for purpose, basically.
Just, I mean, I think Tony's idea is brilliant. I mean, I think we need to put a strong objection or letter. So we're creating a paper trail of objection, outlining all the things that have happened that they can't deny, because they were public events and they were back, and nothing is said until they. If we leave a paper trail from now on in, which we're doing, then we've. If it comes to, you know, them saying, well, you haven't got enough time, or when they start pulling the rug from underneath us, at least it's, hang on, you know, this is the chain of events, and it can be documented.
I think it's worth saying as well that there is an argument that says it's still worth pursuing the neighbourhood plan, even if the the local plan work goes ahead of us. You know, so just the fact that they've got adopted the local plan doesn't mean that we can't continue to work on our neighbourhood plan.
No, but the only problem we're going to have with that is if we can't get a consultant.
Yeah,
and that is the biggest problem we have.
Can we put in a freedom of information request, please?
I've actually put that to my email to Phil Stern and to Jack, because I believe we should be able to get it under freedom of information. I mean, everybody saw the letter I wrote to Richard, did you? So you know that I've asked him for them, and I sent you the reply that he sent us. So you can see where I'm coming from. The fact that he just said basically, no, look at all this, and well, that's why. So I actually already done that. I've asked Phil Stern, because he's the ENC, and Phil is obviously heavily involved in the neighbourhood plan, and I asked Jack as well to sort of try and shift them. The problem I have, and I'm sure everybody will understand, is that if we fail with getting a consultant, we still need the NEC to actually accept some of the things that's in the neighbourhood plan. And if we start now to actually, before we know whether we can get a consultant or not, before we actually get the situation clarified, we need to say, you know, to the NEC that we're still supporting them.
Which is the guilty party?
Yes. Well, I just switched mine off before I was guilty.
Supporting the local plan, you know, because if we don't, we could then be tied out of the local plan altogether. And I mean, one of the things that they said in the meeting, and it was there, everybody was there, there could be 500 houses built in Arundel, not 300, which is what we want, but 500. So we've still got to try where we can to, if you like, you know, smooth the path towards them, just in case we
Was
can't
that
get
sort
a
of put up
neighbourhood
or
plan.
shut up request?
Sorry?
Was that sort of put up or shut up request?
To what?
Well, to us not getting in their way, basically.
Well, I mean,
It sounds like
that's
a
what he
threat.
said. Basically, to be honest, I would say exactly what you just said. And I think everybody at the working party that day.
If you don't have you could end up. Well, they've said that before.
Yeah, exactly.
You could end up with 600,000 houses.
So
If you don't toe the line, you're going to get what we give you. And they've actually said that. They said that at the public meeting. If we don't fall in line with it, the potential is that government, central government, or larger county government will come in and do it for us. But can I just ask you, Councillor Peel, for the record, there is a paper trail of all your
Oh,
emails.
crikey, yeah. I mean, Tony and I have been. I always pass
So
everything to Tony.
your dialogue
Tony passes everything to me.
with
and you pass it
Councillor
on
Stern
to Jerry. So
there is
yeah.
all of this is
it's all there. It's all
documented.
there. Yeah. We don't keep anything towards ourselves.
No.
Everybody in the
I just
working
meant that
party.
it seems to be quite important to actually have these documents.
Yeah.
Chronologically ordered, so we can actually
Can I,
put a case.
sorry, ask one question, but is there any statutory procedure we can use to object to what the NC are doing?
To be honest, Malcolm, I have absolutely no idea. I'd have to find that out. I don't know.
Most things you could appeal against.
I'm pretty certain you can. That's why I wrote
the
to.
plan's not fit for purpose.
Yeah.
Presumably we could appeal. I don't know how it's
So
done.
the biggest problem that we have is that if there's no plan, either Oundle neighbourhood plan or ANC plan,
Yeah, we'll get developers all round.
and they've already threatened Persimmon, and I think it's David Wilson, is it?
Yeah.
Already threatened to go ahead in December this year.
Have they?
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to get the
They said that
meetings.
when we had the meetings
Yeah.
with them previously, they said that they were expecting us to have a neighbourhood plan approved and a referendum in favour by the end of this year, or they would go ahead without us. They told us that very clearly.
Well, we're hoping that we can get, if we can get the consultant, we're hoping we can get the neighbourhood plan to Reg 14 by Christmas. I don't know
Then we have
if
to go
that's
through
possible.
consultation and all that procedure again. It won't
I
be-
did check, and unfortunately
Yeah.
we have to. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we can do it very quickly.
well we can't, because you've got to give statutory notice.
Well, we can do that before starting.
So I think the best thing we can do is press ahead with our plan. So if one of the builders or developers does go ahead with planning permission, we can actually show the status of the plan of where it is. We show the intent of the town, and at least that will have some consideration in the planning application. So without it, there's nothing we can go back on.
If David Wilson Homes go ahead with their section of the plan, or their proposals, without a neighbourhood plan in place, we have nothing to secure the land for the cemetery.
Yeah, I know.
And
This
we're running
is
out of cemetery.
this is why I'm trying to get to see David Wilson, because that's really important. I'm talking to Philip Rose tomorrow. There is one thing I'm going to bring up with him as well, and I'm hoping when I speak to Persimmon as well, is that obviously at the moment the local plan doesn't include Herne Road. They only want 3 sites. They're only considering 3 sites, which is the Persimmon, David Wilson, actually 4 sites, Bennefield Road, and possibly Cotterstop, but they don't class that as being in our neighbourhood plan. It's in Blackthorns, Cotterstop Road I'm talking about. So
It falls in both.
sorry?
It falls in both.
Yeah, but we've only got 15 as opposed to a lot more for Blackthorn.
We've got 30.
30,
Yeah,
sorry, 30. So I always half
We've
figures.
got 30. Their original proposal was for 140 in Oundle and 60 in
Yeah.
Blackthorn.
Well, it's now the other way around, basically. 30 for us and about 70 for Blackthorn. So that one they don't consider as part of their plan, if you like, for Oundle. It's the other 3: Persimmon, Wilson Homes, and Bennefield Road. Well, we know about Bennefield Road, and everybody's happy with Bennefield Road anyway. The important ones are Persimmon and David Wilson, and the Persimmon one is a thorn, because obviously that means if they go into the local plan, there's over 90 houses there. If we can get it to the neighbourhood plan, there's 45. However, there is also a possibility that after talking to Philip Rose and hopefully talking to Persimmon, we might actually be able to accept the 95 houses at Ashton Road if we can get Philip Rose and Persimmon to agree to put a road down to the 605.
Well, it's a big change of the plan.
Mm.
But it would mean that Philip Rose would get his planning in. Because without it, he probably would be excluded. So it's a fairly big ask, I know, but it's a way of possibly doing the deal.
Have you approached the developers about paying? It's going to be a lot of money.
Well, that's the next question, obviously. There is a road already there, isn't there, Tony?
Yeah, the roundabout's the big expense,
Yeah.
And then
It's the roundabout that's the big expense.
Would be an additional part. But I think the main thing is that we've got to go to next week to get the consultant on board. And if we do everything through the SEA process, we will look at the 5 principal sites that we've got around the town. And that SEA is what we're arguing is exactly the same as ENC will have to carry out. So ENC can't select 3 sites without doing the SEA the same as we would have to do it. They just can't do it. It's got to be the same, and therefore we don't want to be paying for the same process they're doing. That's why we want to be part of theirs.
That's why we wanted their SEAs.
We're a few other things to talk about.
Now, who is the consultant that we're trying to get hold of?
A chap called Richard Donoghue. He was in the planning department at Peterborough.
Right.
He lives in Kingscliff.
Yeah.
Was it? No, sorry, Woodnewton. I always get the two mixed up. I don't know why. He lives in Woodnewton.
We have contacted Berries, but they
No, Berries.
but they were concerned about a conflict of interest because they work on behalf of the school. I think one of the other ones, I think it's CC Town Planning. They're working with a developer. They're working with David Wilson Homes, so it's just difficult to get them.
And we've tried to keep it local. When I say local, I mean within about 50 odd miles, because you can go to Manchester and Liverpool and Edinburgh and down the South End, but the trouble is, of course, when you haven't got a consultant on your doorstep, it's really very difficult to get them up here for a meeting.
Yeah.
So the idea was to keep if we can, as local as possible.
Yeah.
So we can actually say, I'll nip over and see you. Or we can nip over and see us. That's what we're trying to do. I mean, all I can say is we can do only what we can do.
I mean, ENC have been aware of the fact that Phil Stern, Councillor Stern, who's head of their planning committee, has been chairing the working group since 2015, late 2015, early 2016. They've been well aware of what he's been doing. They've been well aware of the deals he was doing, or suggestions. These were outline suggestions. They weren't fixed deals, but they were proposals of numbers of houses and locations and things. And it's odd that they've said nothing to him anywhere along the line, and we get to this stage, and then suddenly we're having the kind of conversations now with them that we're having.
I think you do smell a rat, don't you?
I think I think, to be honest, I think there's probably 2 reasons why this has come apart. The way it is, and quite frankly, it's to do with the NCC first, because NCC first. I think people are realising, because that's collapsed and there's going to be 2 unitary councils. They're playing games. ENC, of course, will disappear with the unitary, and I think what's happening is that they're trying to get their plan imposed before they disappear. That's not fair, but it's a fact of life, and that's what we're living in at the moment. Whether we can do anything, I don't know.
I'm trying not to stifle it, but I will have to call a halt before too long. So last few points, please.
Couple of things I think might be relevant to this, because they'll be part of NCC and the districts. The 5 districts will be then part of the new unitary.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Fletton Field plays a big part in this, that you're looking at a multi-million-pound development site there, which they will effectively have an interest in, when it becomes a unitary. They haven't at the moment, because it's county and they are district and looking at it from a different point of view. But when it's all owned by the same people, they will suddenly have a very valuable asset there. And I think that might be part of it, that if our plan, if our Reg 14 were accepted, we were told by ENC at one stage, if Reg 14 went ahead, was agreed by the people, we met all the points that people raised, we dealt with those. If we went on from there, then that field would be shown as a green space in our plan, and it would have some standing as a green space. Now, as it stands at the moment, it's got no standing as a green space, and I think that might be one key thing. I think the other thing is that they're all looking at this new unitary, and certainly all the chiefs in all those councils will be looking at the top jobs and thinking, you know, 4 into 1 doesn't go. They're only going to have one chief planning officer, one chief executive, one finance officer, one of everything, and they're all looking at it and thinking, you know, I want to strengthen my position to be that one. And I have a feeling, and I've seen this game played in the past with local government reorganisation, and I have a feeling that that is playing a big part in this.
I don't see why your feelings are wrong, why I would totally agree with you in all aspects of that, and that is the problem we've got, is because we've got to force this issue as hard as we can, but we've also got to play patsy because we don't want what we don't want. So we've got to play with both hands, if you like.
What would be the mechanism to get the best bits of what we want into the ENC plan? How do we work with
I think there's 2 things we've got to do there, Ian. Firstly, if we don't get a consultant in the next couple of weeks, I think we've got to say that we won't have time to get the neighbourhood plan and another consultant up by Christmas. I honestly don't think that will be a possibility. And I'm not being sort of overly down, I'm just being realistic. I think what we've then got to do is we've then got to go to ENC and we've got to say, look, we've done this, this is what we require, you've had the neighbourhood plan, you know what we're thinking of. And so these are the parts of the neighbourhood plan that we really don't want to see any red lines put through them. And that would include, for instance, the email I sent to you the other day about the bikeways and the footpaths. We've got to put that into a detailed plan as well.
So we also need to have 2 or 3 standalone bits. Exactly.
So that hopefully we can get what we want done without the parts we don't. It's a juggling act. That's why we can't be unfriendly, but we've got to be firm.
I mean, we've got to do both. I mean, ENC have already said that they want us to work with them on the local plan, and we've got to do that. And that's what we've said already that we will do that. So I think it's been a little bit difficult because, of course, it's August and people haven't been around. I mean, their people have been on holiday as well. I do think this month we now need to start making sure we're having proper dialogue with ENC, both on the local plan and on the neighbourhood plan.
There's a lot of credibility with the local residents over this.
Oh, I think it's a no-win situation, though. Whatever we do is going to be, only half what we really need to do.
Sorry, I'd just very quickly like to do the glass half full on that last statement. I think the town really understand how much we're fighting on this issue.
Do they?
Yes. We've held back on some of the things we're using the social media and the sites to do because we didn't want it in too big a forum. But most people I've spoken to are sort of understand what the fight is that we're going through here, and they support us on it, and that's why we shouldn't give up the fight.
Well, I think we should make them aware of it if they're not aware.
Well,
can I draw a line there?
Can I just say one more thing?
Go on, last point then.
Okay. After the 10th of September, if we don't get a consultant, then I would totally agree with Tony. We've got, and We've got to then put everything on the line to the people of Oundle and explain what's happened through Facebook, through every media we can.
Okay. All right, thank you. I don't think we're doing too badly for time, but I just I'm aware we don't want to be running into the planning committee's time.
No,
So
I appreciate that.
and I suspect there might be a fair bit to be said. The next one, which is the pharmacy plan. So I don't know if everyone has seen all of the. There isn't very much documentation, but I think everyone has had circulated the picture of the big box. I suppose, Emma, could I ask you to just let us know from Karen's officer's point of view, what is it going to work? Can we fit the market in if it's there?
All the market stalls holders have been made aware. Some of them were, a little bit unhappy, but if the container goes right up to this line, it can't even be a foot that way. We will be able to get, so if it's right up to this line here, we will be able to get the market in.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a problem for the market. And obviously they need to have access. I mean, I don't know whether people are going to be going in it or if they're just going to have a...
I think they're going to go in.
There's a consultation going to
and have that from the path. That's they've got to make sure they've got
that'll
that from the path and not from...
Well, they'll have to have a ramp as well.
Yeah, so it will
for
have
disabled
to be
people.
but yeah, so I think. I mean, Karen thinks I think it'll be the Thursday market that will be put out more than the farm
I'd imagine
market. I
it's
think it's just
the
one
van will
farm's
be
market.
quite
Okay.
set.
No, I was
Watch repair van.
How long is it going to be there? Because I can't see anything.
Well, they said approximately.
It's 2 weeks, wasn't it?
I think it goes into a third week. I think it goes in on the 10th of October. That was a bit planned on. Then the builders come in on about the 14th or 15th, and they're there for about 2 to possibly 3 weeks. So I think it would be a month.
So should we be putting a time limit on this?
Yeah.
Make sure they do pull out on time.
Well, I would say 4 weeks max.
Yeah.
If the estate's house, how much should we charge?
I mean, they've said less than 4 weeks, but I think if we
The other
Sorry, Councillor Ross is quite right actually.
Can we charge them?
charge them for our market.
Yeah.
Well, no, charge them for the space that they're using.
Yeah.
Well, that technically the road is Northamptonshire Highways Road. It's not our road.
The marketplace is ours, which is why we're able
But
to...
when it's a road, I think
it's worth having a look.
I mean, I can speak to East
Yeah.
Northants about that
Yeah.
and see what they...
Yeah.
Because
it's just one
technically the
incentive for them to get
marketplace
out quick.
is ours.
They're being
There's
especially
a
the
market charter on it.
I suppose it
Well, we
depends.
charge
If their
for-
market, if they're going on those hash lines, then I don't know whether that technically is our market or that is Northamptonshire Highways. But it's something that can be stated. We can broach it with them. I mean, at the moment we've just been told through East Northants, like us, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Can we have your comments on it?
So they've applied for a permit to be on it,
Yeah.
like people who've got...
I know.
Councillor Penn.
The one thing that concerns me, I'm quite happy with the container being there, but the one thing that concerns me is that it is a container. Now I know how thin the containers are because I've got one at the back of my place and I've had it lined, etc., etc. But how are they going to stop people who want to get into their drugs cabinet to get in there? Because with all the will in the world, that is going to be a problem. We are going to get somebody that knows that that's a pharmacy and will attack it for the drugs that are in there.
Looks a big bolt on the door, won't they?
Well, no,
Well, they'll have a safe, I would imagine.
to be honest, they'll just go through the side.
Well, and there'll be a safe, I would imagine, once you get in.
Well, that's what we need to know. That's what I'm
I can
saying.
imagine being outside Branston.
I think there are some that have...
Well,
These containers, Farmer Van, is the brand, our General Pharmaceutical Council approved and properly kitted out to run as a pharmacy. So it's not just a container, it's a container that's been converted into a pharmacy.
Exactly.
So I'm sure when they did that, they took into consideration how it was
Can we ask
secured.
them if they've got security cameras? That's all I'm thinking. On the outside.
Yeah.
Quick point, where are they drawing their power from? Who's paying for the power?
I guess there'll be a generator, I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be doing that themselves.
They're doing that themselves. And can we, and the other point is, can we utilise their wall space, which is,
Can we put posters on?
it seems like they're putting these warnings up for us. Can't we advertise?
Save Floating Field posters.
Yeah, Floating Field posters on it. Can we use it to advertise other stuff?
Good question. Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
If it's there and it's obstructing Oundle Town marketplace.
I think that would be something that we'd have to speak directly with the pharmacy.
I will speak to them about Oundle Carpet Weavers posters.
Sorry, just to go back on that point.
I don't think East Northampton would get involved in that. I think they just basically want our comments.
Around power then.
Pardon?
We're allowing alongside the boarding house there, if they've got a fridge in there, if this generator is going all night long, there has to be some constraints on noise to it, doesn't there?
Yeah.
It's not shown
There's
this
also,
application.
when the French market was in my classroom, it's full of petrol fumes. Ask the guy to turn it on, plug it into my projector. So the smell and the residual unpleasantness is something we want to consider.
We need to ask the question, don't we?
Is that a question that should come from
From
the school? From Brampton House and the school in general?
Sorry, I've got about a noise. What were you saying?
Noise and the smell, petrol smell.
If they're running generators?
Yeah, I'll find out. I mean, it may be that they're probably going to be a bit more sophisticated possibly than that, I don't know.
I must admit, I've got a generator and nobody knows it's going. It is very quiet.
Not his pacemaker.
No, I'm talking about in my 40-foot container.
I mean, I think, I don't know whether I can get on and have a look at the website.
Well, I think
about
before it goes in, we get objections from the school, because we approved it. We need to know.
Yeah, they need to know the school's position.
It might even be that the school would be happier to put a power cable across in their building.
I'm not absolutely sure we're approving it. I've got a feeling we've just been told what's happening.
Okay.
So I think we're making our comments. That's all.
Well, if you think about it, the short-term loss is a long-term gain because we keep our post office.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
I just ask, have I missed something? Was there more information than
Yes,
this?
there's another document, a Word document with the application.
No, I couldn't get that to open. That was on some strange...
the East Northampton document.
It's in there.
That's all I could get. Was this thing.
It's got pictures.
I just got the pictures.
I don't know, I didn't send it out, so...
Oh, well, so there was more information that we don't know about.
It's just the temporary notice from East Northampton.
Right.
Like you get through planning.
So has that been sent to the school, you see, to Brampton? Because normally there would be...
I would assume that from East Northampton they would send it to everybody who's in that locality.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, you can do, yeah.
Because it does obstruct the light to those rooms and things, doesn't it, as well?
Also, they come piling out for mealtimes, so push it over.
Well, they'll be jumping off.
Well, I think it's a bit far where I park my car at the moment.
Okay. Are we? I wouldn't say happy. I'll say we're concerned, and there's some things, questions, quite valid questions we've got to ask. But I think it's in everyone's interest to make it work as smoothly as we can, and to get our post office relocated, as you say, which is good news. Okay, if that's it, then we'll move on to the next item, which is the Christmas tree, which I know Councillor Peel has been doing a little bit on, and I'm not sure what Emma knows, but we've got a little bit in the dark at the moment as exactly who's volunteered to do what.
Well, I've now sorted it.
All right.
The Business Association have now backed off. They will donate some money towards the new lights that we're going to be getting.
Okay.
Now, I've spoken to Jenny Martin, who I don't know if you know. Jenny Martin and Bill Martin always used to give the Christmas tree to the Rotary and they brought it in, put it up, etc., etc. They want to continue to do that free of charge. They've asked me to go up and pick a tree, so if anybody, one other person wants to come with me, quite happy to take them up, and we can pick a tree to the size that we want. They're quite happy with that. I've got Adrian Simpson, who will actually bring the tree into Oundle. He'll put it in position and he'll come and fetch it away afterwards. I'm talking to Rob Sadler, but I allowed Jenny to talk to him first before I talk to him about the electricity. Now, that is the biggest problem we have at the moment, because at the moment the NP building is where we got the electricity from. So I'm talking to Rob to see if there's any other way. Emma is talking to the main contractors for the other lights that have come up to see if we can't get that, we can then run off a cable from that for the lights of the tree. And then the insurance we've sorted out. Emma's gone to our insurance company for the council. It comes under I can't remember what it is now.
Well, they one of our events, they've got a list of our events for the year, and they've got our Christmas event down as one of them, and they're happy with everything. And I've just said we're now just going to be in control. And they said so long as
it's under public liability. Sorry,
so long as we've got a risk assessment for it. Then
so I've got to organise a risk assessment.
Power came from for the Christmas lights last year.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing.
What for the tree? It was plugged in.
They were out of N&P building, because N&P building closed on the Friday. I turned the lights on the Saturday.
We just managed to get it sorted.
I think somebody was up a pole somewhere around the corner listening for me counting down.
We did get it sorted, running through from the N&P building for last year. Yeah.
Right.
But the new owners have already said no.
Right.
But I have got to go back to them. They did say yes for the bunting. I have got to go back and ask again for the lights, so I am going to ask again for the electricity, just to see if they change their mind.
Right.
So they have at the moment said no.
Sorry, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
There's a motion on here, the motion says whether we adopt, take responsibility for the purchasing of the Christmas tree, etc., and any additional costs.
Well, the Christmas tree, you see, I've managed to get free. It's not costing us anything.
It's a question that we're not going to do it, so we need a formal motion to say we are going to do it.
What's that?
Well, it says on here, to consider the council takes responsibility for the
yes, because we haven't done it in the past. We've never done it in the past. So
we need a formal motion, don't we, saying we're going to do this?
Well, we'll do that once. Councillor Pearce explain what's involved,
Now, the additional costs are the lights. We've already sorted the insurance out. So the cost now, because I understand Jenny will talk to Rob Sadler and possibly he will do the electrical work for free as well. So the only cost we're going to have is new lights. Now, I've already been round to several businesses in the town centre. I haven't been around them all because I just haven't had time, because obviously I have to do other things as well. And I've been promised £200 so far. That's without the meeting with the Business Association tomorrow night. Sorry, yes.
What are the lights? Are they the lights for the tree?
This is the lights for the tree. Just the tree. I haven't done anything else because obviously...
No, I didn't think, because we spent a fortune on that.
Yeah. But the lights for the tree are rather dismal and disappointing. They were last year anyway. So we're going to put new lights on, and I'm hoping to raise most of the money through donations. Now there might be, 50 or 60 or £100 that the council have to put in, but basically I don't really think it's going to cost the council any money at all, with a bit of luck, providing I can get all the donations in. As I say, I know there were a couple of people. Does anybody know John Richardson?
Yeah.
He said he'll donate money anyway, but I don't want him to be the main, provider of the money. Neville said he'll donate some money. So, but again, I don't think we should do it to individuals. The idea, and I spoke to Jerry about this, is that anybody that donates, in the Christmas edition of the Oracle, we will put their name and address and say a thank you for donations for the Christmas tree.
A little bit of free advertising.
Exactly.
is it, what's his name, the guy I keep emailing, the chair of the Business Traders
Paul.
Association, Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's never responded to any email I sent him, but he is on board with it all.
I've spoke to him today. It's all sorted out. They're backing off because they were going to try and sort it, but they couldn't find anybody to buy the tree off.
Right. Okay. Now my next point, just to ask David, is can we? Well, we're talking about Christmas. I don't want to talk about Christmas because it's far too early. But is there some way this year we can coordinate the Wharf Christmas with the Marketplace Christmas, so they're not? They seem to be a little bit in competition last year. Is there any way?
Well, I haven't got involved with that.
Yeah.
Well, ours is arranged for the 1st of December, and I think they always do theirs in November.
Yeah.
I think they
I know
actually.
they had a Christmas market, didn't they?
So and I think that's how it works.
And it just sort of occurred to me that perhaps we could try and unify, because we've always had this now since the Wharf is sort of beginning to take off, two-centred town. Is there some way we can keep the unification?
So you have a Christmas event with the fair trade people as well,
that's the
in St Peter's.
Mm-hmm. Are you suggesting it would be better if they were at the same weekend?
No, I'm not suggesting anything at all.
Okay.
I'm just suggesting that we start to perhaps think about it now and find out what the various plans are and try and coordinate it so Oundle has a sort of unified Christmas for everybody rather than a Christmas this week and then another Christmas next week.
I have a feeling that they do, some of them do have stalls on our Christmas market.
Right.
They do.
They do.
I've got a feeling that they do come up and be a part of the.
As I say, the only concern was that it makes it a town-wide Christmas. If it goes on for 2 weeks, all the better. But so there is. It's almost like being in communication with the Traders Association to say, look, what are your plans? These are our plans, or this is what happens. You know what happens at Christmas. Can we make it happen for everybody?
Well, I'm seeing them tomorrow night, so I'll have a chat.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, the only comment I would make is they're looking after themselves, we're looking after the town.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But there's no reason why it should be disparate like that. It should be.
Well, they're not interested in town, they're interested in promoting their own business.
Yeah, no, but they.
We're interested in promoting the centre of town from the town.
Yeah, no, but they should be. That shouldn't be the case.
What they should be and what they choose to do.
Yeah.
Two different
But they
things.
don't need to be prized away from that.
Yeah, last year it was the 25th of November,
Right.
and then it was the year
Yeah.
before it was the 26th.
I think they
But
tend to
fair
always
trade
pick the
was
week
the
before.
11th, that's the end of November, and Christmas is beginning of December, so they're all
Staggered through. Right.
spread further.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to know about the Christmas tree?
No, I don't think so. I think if we do need to resolve to support the tree, I suppose we can do that. So I guess the proposal is that the council agrees that it will meet any shortfall in funding required for the erection and provision of the tree for the Christmas market or for Christmas generally. And I would suggest that it's dealt with by states now. We don't need to come back.
I would propose it.
Thank you very much. Okay. All those in favour? That's everyone.
All voted for Christmas.
Yes. no turkeys in the room. Very good. Okay. Has anyone got any other relevant matters they want to raise?
Just about the bridge.
Okay.
Very, very quickly, because Tony and I, and we've all been working on it. We did think that we were going to have a meeting with Tom Punslow on the 7th. That was the situation. However, they've put it back to the 28th, which means that we can now attend, because I'm free at the 28th.
You're free.
So that's to do with the bridge. We had the parish meeting last week, which obviously dealt with the parishes and things like that. We are in talks with the NCC about roads and the bridge, the weight limit, etc., and we'll just keep you informed.
Okay. If that's it then, if no one else has anything else they want to say, then I shall bring the meeting to a close at 10 to 8, something like that.